hopefully we are officially synced and live as of now.
I mean, I can look.
You can look. Yeah, that'd be good. But we're just here. We decided a few weeks ago we wanted to get on, say hi to you all over here on Substack and chat about spring and all things being human and all of that. So I titled this Seeds, Weeds, and Revolutionary Deeds because we are revolutionaries over here doing our revolutionary deeds all day, every day. And it is seeds and weeds time because yesterday we were out in the garden in the frigid fucking cold planting seeds and pulling weeds. And that's just like life. Like sometimes you gotta put the oomph in when you really don't want to, when it's freezing cold, and you gotta get out there and you gotta do what you gotta do. That's life.
So I was a little pessimistic about the metaphor, but I'm really digging this. Like the planting seeds and pulling weeds metaphor. Like, I feel like so much of the last, I'd say like 3 weeks of my life has really been about focusing on what I'm planting, like what I'm doing, and what weeds am I pulling to totally trash, like to just put in the compost heap and allow the planet to do her magic and make that into dirt.
Yes. Like, yeah. I feel like so many of us are in that place right now, just from having conversations with people and having clients and whatnot. Like, so many people are confronting a really harsh reality right now. And in that, they're really asking, what do I want in my life? I think that's a big question right now. Is like, what do I actually want in my life? Because we have been told this is what you're supposed to want and this is what your life's supposed to look like for decades upon decades now, right? Like we live in this modern system that has created these prisons of power and control for the average person. And like, we're done with it. We're so done with it. Yes. Enjoy our gas station coffees, our twinning gas station coffees from across the country today, because it's just one of those days. And this is what it's like being human.
I mean, when you wake up and there's no half and half, you go to the corner.
Yep. You go to the Sheets down the road and you get your decaf because I can't drink full calf.
You're so cute. You're so like an old lady trapped in a young lady's body.
I really, really am. It's true.
I think that, I had someone message me about our spring equinox event, and they were like, I have to go to a memorial that day, so I'm going to watch the replay, kind of a thing. Mm-hmm. And I thought, wow, what a, life is just so, I have to take my glasses off because that glare is really bugging me. Life is just so, like, here they are missing this ritual about life and blossoming and blooming because they're going to a memorial service for someone who has transitioned,
Yeah.
And I think that's so remarkable. Like that the cycle of life just keeps carrying on, it just keeps going. And amidst all this destruction, and I wrote a Substack about words. Words and the importance of words. And one of the things I talked about was that the word apocalypse actually means seeing beyond the veil or lifting the veil. And I was listening to the news this morning with my husband, and we heard this horrifying story of something that happened in Iran. And I was like, we're in the middle of the apocalypse, dude. And then I was like, we really are. Like we are seeing beyond the veil. Like they just can't keep it going. You know what I mean? I think it's so, and for it to be this time of year, for it to be the spring, and for it to be like this moment in time where things are starting to grow and bloom and blossom, and it's fascinating.
Well, and the equinox is that balance, that actual cosmological time when we have that equal day and night. And me as the shadow light lover I am, right? This is the invitation to be with the shadow and light equally. We certainly have the collective weeds and shadows coming to the surface right now. and it is a hot freaking mess. And the cycle of life continues, right? I love that example of this person who unfortunately can't make it because death. And that's spring too. I remember very distinctly last year going out and we were planting seeds in early spring. And I remember seeing this big old spider drop down near our shed. And I was like, oh, wow, a spider. And I'm like, the daffodils are blooming and the tulips are coming in and the hyacinths, and it's looking so beautiful. And this spider, I watch it drop down and just, murder another insect and start to wrap it up. And I was like, and that, my friends, is the circle of life. And I remember very distinctly standing in that moment and being like, life and death. And that is just how it is. And it was a very beautifully profound, simple moment of recognizing that is just this flow.
Yeah.
And this
Yeah.
season of spring, things are still continuing to fade and new things are growing in their place. And going out and doing the act of pruning away some of the things right now and uprooting things to transplant them and getting the beds all smooth to start planting seeds. Like, this is a metaphor for life, right? Spring cleaning is such a cultural phenomenon, I feel like, because there is a collective energy at this time that's saying, hey, time for new beginnings and fresh starts. And
When you think of the work that you do in the world, what are you clearing away?
the work that I'm doing in the world, what am I clearing away? I mean, limitations made by false systems is really what I'm clearing away.
Too ethereal. Come on.
What am I clearing away with the work I do? The
I could-
bullshit. Clearing away the bullshit, the fakeness, the lack of authenticity, so that people can actually be who they are in the world and return to their nature. Because
But what are you clearing away? Not the authenticity, so the ethereal they can clear away. Like, what are you noticing is going to the compost heap?
I mean, for me right now, it is relationships that are not reciprocal. It
Mhm,
is overworking, it's overdoing, it's
mhm,
dividing my attention, it's composting the damn doom scroll.
mhm,
Like, it's getting out of the patterns of extraction and depletion. It's
mhm.
getting out of the patterns of being limited by the quote unquote American dream and like be a good citizen and fit in your little box and make the country a lot of money. Like, that's all going.
Yeah,
It's in the compost heap at this point.
yeah.
Yeah, because it's bullshit.
Yeah, I feel like I am becoming so much more like I'm becoming so much more proud of who I am as a person, especially because I'm running for Congress. So people are like nitpicking every single detail about my life. Delightful.
Love it.
And I was doing a presentation for a group of folks online yesterday, and they were asking me questions about the campaign and my work in the world, because preach and I teach and I read tarot and I do all these things, and those things are coming under attack because it's really hard to attack me for anything else, right?
Mhm.
And it's still happening, by the way. Like, it's fascinating. And I actually started crying while I was doing this presentation to all these people online yesterday, and I was like, the reason I started crying is because I was so moved by this idea that I am truly being unapologetic for the entirety of who I am.
Mhm.
And I am unafraid of what that means, because what I know is that people want, whether it's in their spiritual practice as they're working with people like you and me who are providing rituals for people, or um, it's in their leadership, they want people who are actually real and authentic and true to themselves and not hiding any piece of themselves, right? Like, we want people who are showing the entirety of who they are. Ironically, it turns out that the current administration really has figured out how to do that, and the the minority party at the moment has not. And I think that's why people resonate so much with the president in particular, because you cannot, he is who he is, and
He
people,
is who he is.
because he's real. And I think that that is so fascinating, because what people, I actually had someone come on. I posted an event for something I'm doing on Tuesday, and this guy came on and was like, a revolutionary. What does a revolutionary mean? And listed these really horrible, like, people who led these revolutions, who are really terrible people.
Right.
And my response was more like Fugazi with a little bit of no effects sprinkled in for good effect, because I'm a punk rock kid, and that's revolutionary music, right? Like, that's where my revolution was born when I was a teenager, right? Was listening to punk rock. And I was like, that's, it's more like that. It's more like, punk stands for people under no king. Like, it's more punk rock than that. And as I become more and more as I am really, because it takes a lot of bravery, Safriana, to
Yeah.
actually say, well, I'm not going to hide behind any of these things. And I'm starting to realize that that's the conversation. I'm actually probably going to do a reel about it today, because I'm getting all the tingly feelings. So clearly I have to say this out loud, in more spaces than just our cute little Substack live that no one's at. But someone will listen to it someday. And like people want authentic leadership. They don't want people who are BSing them. And this goes actually back to this idea of, we call people who do the work we do grifters, and, they're shysters, and, we're selling the snake oil and all that kind of shit, right? And there is a truth to that, right? Because that has happened over history and over millennia. But like, there's also something to the fact that when you provide people real, authentic spaces where they can just come in and be themselves, and you are yourself, like, you let all that shitty shoulds go, and you just are the entirety of who you are as a being, then people really start to resonate with that. And then they start to understand that they don't have to be afraid to be the entirety of themselves, because that's really what we're doing right now, is we need people to be all of who they are here to be, because that's what we need.
Yeah.
Um, we need that veil lifted. We are in the middle of an apocalypse, and that means we do need to clear away the veil so we can see clearly. And I think that, I mean, my tarot card for the month of March is Two of Swords reversed. So, I'm thinking all about that blindfold. You can kind of see, but not really. And I just think there's something really potent and powerful about this season of spring, where revolutionary deeds are not going out. Although I think sometimes it is fun to imagine a sword and, Joan of Arcing, or like, making your way in Game of Thrones style through some sort of like apocalyptic universe. But I really feel like that the revolution, and I've said this a million times because I talk about the graceful revolution all the time, it's about giving ourselves a fucking break, and just being okay with who we are as human beings. I think that is truly, deeply one of the most revolutionary things that we can do in the world. And I feel like that's what's missing for so many people, is we've created a society that convinces people that they can't be who they are as human beings.
Yes. Yes. And I love everything that you just said about that, because a much more eloquent way to say what I professionally do in the world, right, is try to help people understand that. But that is what I love about what we do, is just showing up and shining. And I get more feedback consistently that people are benefiting from me showing up in the world. The more that I step into being who I am, the more I'm unapologetically myself.
Yeah.
And I also, on the seeds and weeds metaphor, I love gardens as a metaphor. I've written gardens as a metaphor so much. In fact, the first piece I ever wrote professionally under my name and got published was called Learning to Grow, and it was about a garden metaphor for how, unfortunately, society is kind of like a giant HOA garden, And it's like, you're allowed to plant this, and you're allowed to plant this many inches within the road, and you're allowed to you can have these kinds of plants, but you can't have those kinds of plants. Society is very much like an HOA telling us what we can put in our gardens. We got to get rid of that mentality, right? And wild sow some seeds that are what we're really excited about. And also, weeds come with a judgment. One of the things I've discovered over the last year is how many edible, quote unquote, weeds are in my yard. And I'm like, oh my gosh, look at all this free food.
It's such a colonizer way of thinking, right? Like, we even colonized our plants. Dandelions are one of the healthiest plants on earth. Like, they have so much vitamin C and all these good things, and they're completely edible, and they do so many good things. I remember when I let the dandelions go just nuts in the yard, and Jim's like, oh my God. And I was like, we're going to eat them as lettuce. And he's like,
what are you talking about?
And he's like, the clover's taking over everything. And I was like, I know the bunny rabbits love it. And there's these little bunnies bouncing around in my front yard. And he's like, what's happening? But I think this is such an important thing for you to bring up. Like, what we call weeds are actually native plants that are food.
And how many
monocropping farming BS that was brought over here from people from England.
Oh my God, I could soapbox about this for ages. But yeah, just look around and see how much grass is out there, which does absolutely nothing for anybody, pretty much. It doesn't even look pretty. It's
Did
like,
you know that I live in the grass seed capital of the world?
There's a grass seed capital of the world.
Yeah, and it's Oregon. We produce more grass seed than anywhere else in the entire world, and hazelnuts. Hazelnuts and grass seed are the two, and Christmas trees are our top agricultural products from Oregon.
Wow. Wild to think of. But yeah, like this colonization of nature. I can't get over it. And this is what I want people to be able to reclaim, is nature and their nature. Mama Gaia has everything that you need to survive. Like, she provides, and we have been, really, really just split apart from all of this. So.
Oh, hi, Izzy. I love you.
Do you want to answer this question?
Yeah. Hold on. I can only see it halfway. Izzy's in my writing group.
Beautiful.
Can you ask Melissa about the beautiful writing she does about the earth, like grass seeds, hazelnut, and the corporeal writing, and how it connects to political authenticity? Oh my gosh, you just missed us having that conversation. I will say this, and seriously, Izzy, go back to the beginning of this conversation, and because I think that what Safrianna and I are really talking about here is this idea that becoming spiritually grounded requires a level of courage and authenticity that, I think that's what we teach in all of these rituals we do, right? Like, that's what we're going to be doing on the 21st, is as we move through the wheel of the year. And I think it's really smart of you and I to really grab onto these shenanigans, these seasonal shenanigans, right? Like, as we move through the wheel of the year, what we're addressing here in the spring is not what we were doing 6 weeks ago. 6 weeks ago, we were addressing something completely different. And there's something so beautiful about anchoring into ourselves authentically that's going to change the way we operate in the world.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is stepping into the old way. Dr. Bird and I have taught so much about spiritual reclamation and how important it is to reclaim the ancient ways, the indigenous ways, the native ways, your ancestry's ways, when you go all the way back to before colonization. And that's where we're circling back around to, like, kind of fuck this colonization thing. It's that one of those collective shadows that's come to the surface for us.
Well, and your ancestors are just as colonized.
Right. And that's why I go all the way back to before the colonization. Yeah. Because, the Druids, They came in and, you know, they wrote the Christians wrote what they wanted to about the Druids. And then they tried to adopt all of our rituals and fold in all of our history and wash it away. Like,
was it you that I was talking about that? Was I talking to you about? No, it was somebody else.
Oh boy, I don't know. You and I have had so many conversations. You never know.
No, I was talking about how it was someone else. I was talking about how in the Episcopal Church we burn all the Palm Sunday palms to make the Ash for Ash Wednesday. Like, come on.
I will never forget
ashes on our forehead.
Coming into knowledge and like understanding, coming out of my strictly Jesus freak stage into what else is there, and going, oh my God, like all of this historical ritual stuff that was just yoinked by the modern Christian church, which was an institution meant to maintain power. And thank God there are so many people who are reclaiming a relationship with Christ and Christ consciousness and the good stuff in it, because the rest is colonization. The rest is
come on, like the Catholic Church and the Episcopal Church has these huge thoroughfares and we're winging them around. Like incense going everywhere. We're like winging them around like that's not some sort of damn ritual. Like, y'all, it's not. And this is the thing, especially here in the United States, people want to separate out like religion from spirituality. And if you are maintaining a religion that is based in white supremacist, that is not willing to do the work to decolonize itself, that is not willing to do the work to own that it's based in white supremacist purity culture, then I mean, there's a reason I'm an Episcopal, because like we're an open and affirming church, right? And acknowledge that like I still get to be a pagan within that concept, because I am. Like you can't separate those things out. And the more we stop us versus theming, either oring spirituality and religion, there's a huge healing within that. Yes. When religion isn't being used as a way to have power and control over other people. And I think that's also, just to go back to our rituals, I think what we have done with these rituals that is so profound to me is that you and I have created a space where people can actually engage in that healing. And it's not separate. It's both and, because you and I complement each other. Like you and I just do this little weaving thing where we just play back and forth with each other. And that I think is spiritual and religious healing.
Collaboration, right? There's no one person with one right answer. There's no guru or demagogue or whatever word you want. Like there's no figurehead.
Yeah.
By us collaborating and inviting people into circle, it's an environment of equality, equity, and sharing, not one person has the right answer. And yeah, I just see it's like we're collectively weeding out the awful government. We're collectively weeding out these shadows of extraction, of diminishing human beings, of what? Dominance, yeah, of all the power and control. Like these are here risen to the surface, and collectively we really need to gather up the light, because that's this counterbalance, and that's what the spring equinox is inviting us into. And I feel like I'm holding my hands up in front of me equally, you know, at the same height. This is what so many of me and my clients have been doing lately, which is holding what we see as pleasant in one hand and holding what we see as unpleasant in the other hand, and knowing they're both equally important and they both give each other information. And like that's the wisdom of the equinox season.
Yeah, I think what's so potent, it's for me, it's not even, I am a Libra, so I do love craving balance, but I think it's this harmony of the liminality of equinox. It's the harmony of the in-betweens. And when we think about the in-between of our where we're at spiritually and as a society, and what's happening to us locally and globally, there's so much beauty in acknowledging the season of equinox, because it allows us to be in harmony with the liminality of not having all the answers. I don't have all the answers. You don't have all the answers. But what we do have is an opportunity to connect with how the answers come to us. A lot of people have that doorway kind of shut off, right? Like you and I have had that doorway shut off, right? We know what it's like to open the door and to close the door.
You open the door and all of a sudden a million voices come flooding in and you're like, oh God.
I lost my mind. What's happening?
Legitimately.
Yeah. And then you're like, oh, wait a minute. If you go back all those thousands and thousands and millennia years ago, this is what it meant to be a healer and someone who was a seeker and a seer. And like, this is not new.
This is not new. And, you know, one of the things that I've had such a tangible understanding of, I don't know why this is coming up right now, but we used to talk through the trees. We used to talk to other humans on the other side of the planet through energy, through telepathy, through all manners of subtle communication that we have reignited in a sort of modern way by having the internet and cell phones and this instant connection. But we've lost the human part of it, the gifted part of it, the spiritual part of it that really anchors us in to that interconnectedness. Like we have this constant interconnectedness of the internet without the connection half the time. That's what I love about our circles, is that it does feel like we're connected. It does feel like we're gathering for something important. And you know, that is reigniting those ancient ways of communicating and being together. And yes, we have this modern gift of the internet and this modern pleasure of being able to connect all over the place. And so how do we use that in a new and beneficial way for everyone, right? How do we grow? This is the season of planting the seeds for what do we want to grow? What do you want to grow with your communication in your community? What do you want to grow in your life? What seeds are you planting? What weeds are actually not weeds? They're actually beneficial things that someone has told you are bad and wrong that you want to keep. And what is the stuff you actually do want to weed out that you really don't like? It's really not for you.
I love that so much because it's about discernment. It's about discerning what is a weed that's not useful. I have a few. And also what are the weeds that are useful? And what are the seeds you're planting that you're hoping will really come to full fruition, to full growth? And what are the ones that you might be okay with them not coming out all the way, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you talking about listening to the trees, I was on a walk with a friend of mine the other day, and we walked by this gigantic tree, and I just had to stop and just put my hand on her. And I was just like, oh. I was canvassing for the campaign, and like we walked by these huge cedar trees, and I was like, I just wanted to like hug it. It was so big. It was so big. It was so beautiful. Yeah. There's something about the touching the trees.
The saying "go touch some grass" has some truth to it, right? Like we really have lost this beautiful connection with nature that used to be so inherent to humans that they just understood it. And that's, you know, part of what we're here to help people reconnect with.
Yes.
Is this immense support that exists in nature. Go touch. Yes. See, my friend Holly has been so clear. It's not dirt until it comes inside. It is soil otherwise. Once it comes inside, it's dirt.
I like that.
But outside, it's soil and it's fertile. And there's this beautiful foundation to grow in. You can't really grow with the dirt on your floor, right? But you know, we would love to have you at our ritual on Saturday, March 21st. These are every 6.5 weeks. We do a ceremony for the Wheel of the Year. Hi, Amy. Good to see you. Hi. And they're nourishing. They are really inviting us to root into the moment and see what's present, see what's really here.
Yeah.
outside of the noise of colonialism and capitalism and hustle and grind and all of this artificialness that we find in society today. And they're called seasonal shenanigans because we don't take it so seriously. We have fun with it, we play with it.
Yeah.
And they're completely intuitive. We do not pre-plan anything except for a journal prompt or two usually. And we just kind of go from there. We do some prayer, some meditation, some journaling, some conversing, and we always send out the replay. Of course, the replay is significantly shorter because we don't record people's private shares, but they're still so lovely. Nice.
I did put the link in the chat.
Perfect. I was going to say, nice to meet you, anonymous
squeaky. Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
You want to pull a card before we go?
Yeah, let's pull some cards. So
as long as everybody's online talking about whether or not I'm an, relevant human being because I pull tarot cards.
I could soapbox. That is a live I could do to absolutely soapbox for an hour on end. Is this people's damn misconstrued opinions about what it means when you pull cards. And I get it, because I literally have written a chapter about my reclaiming my druidry and how when I got my first tarot deck, I literally was standing there waiting for God to strike me down in the aisle. Like, I get it. We have a lot of cultural conditioning around tarot and
the
cards.
occult.
All right. So
my card. Practice the occult. Oh, sorry. You're moving way ahead of me. Hold on.
You're all good.
I can't see it. I have to put on my readers.
All right.
Ooh, blue flame. You're using the...
I'm back on the Starseed Oracle by Rebecca Campbell. Mm-hmm. The blue flame is all about spontaneous awakening. It is about activation and integration time. And I love that this has all of the steps. The awakening, right? The sudden gasp of fresh air, the activation that comes with that, the downloads, the energy coming in, and then the integration, which is where it really gets installed as wisdom. Mm-hmm. So whatever your blue flame is right now, something is coming in for you, and the spring gives you an invitation to really be with what is sparking up in you. Like, I almost see it as this little seed that you've planted that flares to life and bursts out in this sudden spontaneous awakening. What is growing within you that is essentially ready to pop? It's ready to burst forth and be this amazing energy that carries you forward. Sit with that.
Really good.
Emerging from the darkness.
Well, you're going to be really surprised about my card. No, you're not. Oh, this is from the Living Altar. Might not pull out the big guns as long as people are talking shit about me.
Yet again.
Every week I pull this card. This month, every week I pull the death card. It doesn't matter which of these decks I'm looking at. It's the death card. So for those of y'all watching, the death card is actually about transformation. It's not about somebody dying. It's not about anything bad. It's about transformation. So here's the message that comes with this card. Remain true to the spirit of hope that called to you from the deep. Honor the catalyst of your journey. Dissolve. Let go. Return it all to source. Isn't that what we were just talking about with compost?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Only that which is truly received can truly be given, and that which is truly given is only that which can truly be received. Such it is with life and all its lessons. In earnest, open our hearts to receive the ineffable gift of our lives. To the source of all things, return those blessings and gratitudes. Cut ties with the illusion that life is personal. Mm-hmm. Yep.
I love that piece about giving and receiving and how it
Mhm.
has to be in equal flow. And that there's the equinox as well. Like
Yeah,
the give and take has to, like,
yeah.
if it gets out of whack, it gets out
Mhm.
of whack.
And back to your open hands, right? We give and receive love through our hands because our hands are the conduit to the heart, and that is the center of love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Use your and hands are how we plant our little seeds. It was so freaking cold yesterday and I was planting seeds and I was like, I can't wear gloves. I have got to touch the seed and I've
The
got to
dirt.
touch the earth.
Yep.
We had you gotta have that intimate relationship. So I hope that you found some invitation in this conversation to be yourself,
Mm,
to shine your light, to plant your seeds that you want to plant, not do what everybody else says you got to do and be in an HOA of life. I have so many garden metaphors. Um, I hope that you will consider that not all weeds are weeds and that there are some things, this is like my writing was treated like a weed by my family, something
mm,
that I shouldn't focus on growing, something
mhm,
that I should probably cast aside or, not give much attention to. But
mhm.
it's like my greatest beauty in my life. It is the thing that I need the most in my garden.
Yep.
So, just to give that example, what have people tried to weed out of your life because of
Mm,
control, because of their thoughts, their fears about your life?
mm.
Sometimes our families tell us not to do things out of love. They mean well, but they're really telling us not to be who we really are out of their own fear.
Yeah,
So those are the weeds we get to cast aside and we get to replant what's really ours.
yeah.
If you want to do some replanting with us, we'd love to have you at the ritual.
Yeah, join us on March 21st. The link is in the chat, and also you can find it on either of our websites and
And
also
our pages and our
on this app
places.
and all the things.
Or DM us if you really can't find it.
Or send us a message if you want to come and play with us on March 21st.
Yeah, we'd love
Thanks,
to
Al.
have you.
I love
Thank
you.
you, Dr. Melissa Bird, PhD.
I love you.
I love you.
Yes. Bye, y'all.
All right. Bye, y'all. We'll see you again back here sometime whenever we feel
Okay.
like going live again.
Bye.